No. Ready to get going. Are there any additions to the agenda, Ms. Rhonda?
No, Mr. Chairman, there's no additions to the agenda.
Now can you hear me? No additions to the agenda. County Council, would you read in the record for the closed session?
Yes, Chairman. There's one item for closed session, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Wow, this audio is great.
Yeah.
County negotiators are Adrian Caleb, and the employee organization is all units.
And that's the only one? Any public comment? I don't see nobody running up here, so we will go into closed session. Okay. We're going to get started. Everybody ready? Thumbs up. We're ready. Okay, we're going to open and close in memory of someone that Brett's special to him.
Just 2 days ago, I heard that Jackie Chamberlain, who owned the hair studio here in town, cut so many people's hair and was just such a wonderful, wonderful person that always had a smile on her face. Anybody that came through cosmetology school, if they needed a workstation, she was there to give them their first place, whether they had the ability to rent the space or not. It was yeah.
Thank you, Brett. So the invocation will be by Mike Farmer from the 4th Street Church. And Sean, would you give the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Here at this place today, just ask for your presence to be in this chamber. We pray for this family of Jackie. Be with them. Use this time in their life. Draw them close to you. Lord, today as this meeting progresses, ask for your guidance, for your direction, for your presence to lead everything that is said and done. And we thank you and call upon you and we're here. Amen.
The flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mike and Sean. I appreciate it. The 125th anniversary, honoring the past, embracing the present, and looking ahead to the future. This picture, we have an issue? Okay, but it's a picture of the Sugar Pine Lumber Company back in 1894. But the Madera Sugar Pine Lumber Company began logging the area surrounding Oakhurst in 1894. The three-truck Shea locomotive number 10 was purchased from West Side Lumber Company's Railway of Tuolumne. Built in 1928, the number 10 was recognized as the largest narrow-gauge Shea locomotive and one of the last that was constructed. The company originated in 1874 as the California Lumber Company and once had a sawmill. The railroad had 7 locomotives, more than 100 log cars, and 140 miles of track in the surrounding mountains. And I've hiked and hunted and stuff around those, and it's so cool. And when I was a kid, a lot of those railroad trusses were still in place. And then our Smart Forest Service in the 70s decided they were dangerous, and they burned them all down. So it was a shame because we actually drove out on one by Figure 7 up there out of North Fork on the 9 line. And my dad did his pickup, and I guess maybe that's reason they burned them down, because people like that driving out on them. So, but it was quite a time in those days. And EIKI is getting ready to show that picture, maybe. Icky. Anyway, moving on, item number 4. We get the picture, we'll bring it up later. Oh, I'm sorry. County Council.
Thank you, Chairman. There are no reportable actions from closed session.
I forgot to ask you that, didn't I?
No, I heard it. In my mind, I heard.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
No reportable action, closed session. Thank you. Now, item number 4, public comment.
For members of the board, the first 15 minutes of each regular session is set aside for members of the public to comment on any item within the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. Items presented under public comment may not be discussed or acted upon by the board at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public is invited to comment at the time the item is called for consideration by the board. Any persons addressing the board under public comment will be limited to a 3-minute presentation to ensure that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak. Any handouts to the board must be submitted to the chief clerk of the board for distribution to the supervisors. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium. Also, all persons addressing the board may state their name and county of residence for the record.
Good morning.
In Madera County, right by the Fresno River, right off of Raymond Road. Today, I came simply to let you all know that Love Madera has officially been resurrected, and we have 10 projects available for our Community Service Day coming up April 21st. These projects include Fresno River cleanup with code enforcement, gathering donations for the animal shelter, along with an orientation for volunteerism, river trail maintenance beginning at the Westbury entrance moving east. They will be picking up trash, removing weeds, trimming, and working on tree wells. Tree planting at Town and Country Park with the Parks and Recreation team from the city. Cleaning up downtown with the Madera Beautification Committee. And of course, picking up trash along county roadways on 4 roads, which include 26, 17, D, Ellis, and probably parts of Lake or 27, because that's kind of an odd area. We also have 2 projects that focus on reaching out to the homeless community with resource information, donations to Doors of Hope, and convalescent visitation. Our goal is to make this Love Madera successful. After this Love Madera becomes successful in Madera City and the outskirts, we will contact someone in Chowchilla and get them associated with these projects. We would love to see a Love Chowchilla on the same day as Love Madera by next spring. Once Love Chowchilla is accomplished, we would like to make contact with other cities in the Madera County area like Coarsegold, Oakhurst, and any other city that falls under the umbrella of Madera County.
Thank you, April.
You're welcome. Love Madera is a subsidiary of a larger group called Love Our Cities. They began in Modesto, California about 10 years ago. According to their website, they have over 100 service projects and 7,000 volunteers that come out every year. Of those 7,000 volunteers, 5,200 of them continue to serve and volunteer throughout the year. This is the vision that Love Madera has for the whole county of Madera. We are convinced that volunteerism is what Madera needs. So sign up. Here's my shameless plug. Sign up at www.lovemadera.com. Hit projects. It'll give you the list of 10. Sign up for any one of them that you want. There is a release of liability waiver that needs to be signed. We are insured. We have T-shirts for sale, $5 a piece. Praise God for our mayor of Madera, who made them at a very, very discounted rate. You can order a shirt at lovemadera@gmail.com or call Grace Community Church. I work there. That's
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other? Yeah. Any other public comment? I have one. I just wanted, actually 2, that next Tuesday our board meeting will be in Chowchilla, and it will be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll have closed session at 2 o'clock. And so if you're not doing anything around Chowchilla or here or in the mountains, come on down and see our on the road board meetings. It was very successful last week in Oakhurst. And so the challenge is out there to see what kind of show-ups we have for these next 2. The following one in the Madera Ranchos is May the 1st, and it'll be at 5 o'clock. We're trying different times to see what's the best public response. So if we do them again, we want to know what's the best way to get people coming. And then I know we announced it before, but I just want everybody to get on our website. It's a user-friendly website now, I think. And so if you're not doing anything and want to see what's happening with Madera County, get on our website and take a gander at it. So our staff is doing a great job with that. So I really appreciate it. Okay, gentlemen, the consent calendar. There's a correction. Remove approval of the minutes. The minutes of April 3, 4, and 5 will not be on the, will be on the 417 agenda. So the, whoever makes some motion, take off the item A, please. And let's see, the other one is board item B. So we'll have, we'll open up to the public first. Let's just do that first. So Deanna? Morning.
Good morning. My name is Deanna Villegas McPeters. I'm the Director of Social Work Services and Interpreter Services at Valley Children's Healthcare. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you so very much for consideration of the proposal that's being brought before you today. Valley Children's would like to assume the workflow of doing the assessments and disposition of patients that are actually presented to our emergency department and acute beds for those patients who are actually providing with needs of mental health services. I really want to say thank you to Dennis Cook and to his team. They have actually been exceptional in this past year as we've talked about this and planned and strategized how to have a successful rollout. His team has been very generous in collaborating, sharing their expertise, and really guiding us as we look at a very successful rollout. Thank you.
Great. That's we have a great staff down there. So thank you, Deanna, and we all really appreciate what you're doing for our citizens here in Madera County, big time. So any other public comment on the consent calendar? And then what's your pleasure, board?
Move to approve removing item A.
You got a second from Max. Roll call, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras? Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay. We're going to go to the regular session, item number 7. We're going to skip 7A until 11 o'clock. We'll go to 7B.
7B, County Administration Department, Madera County Arts Joint Powers Authority. 1, discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with the City of Madera and Madera Unified School District to form the Madera County Arts Joint Powers Authority to conduct activities associated with the development of a performing arts complex in downtown Madera. 2, discussion and consideration of appointment of a representative, a first alternate, and a second alternate to the Board of Directors for the Madera County Arts Joint Powers Authority.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Eric Fleming, County Administrator. We're here before you today with a recommendation to form or to take part in a joint powers authority with the City of Madera and Madera Unified School District. The intent of the JPA is for the development of an arts center in the City of Madera serving the entire County of Madera, which would develop a mechanism to provide ongoing operations and maintenance of such a center. I'm joined today by Dr. Julie O'Kane and Steve Frazier, Madera City Administrators here as well. We've been working together on this along with Madera Unified Superintendent Todd Lyle. So the document that you have today, I just wanted to go into a little bit about what the goal is of this JPA, and it's to enlighten the public as to enhancement and benefits of artistic principles, and not limited to these things. It's expanding artistic awareness, participation, and expression in all areas of the arts, visual, literary, and performing. Will help organize and increase private and public sector support for existing new cultural and educational activities. It will enrich school curricula by promoting the arts. It will serve all generation and cultural groups through the arts. It will develop public and private finance support for the arts, help strengthen existing art organizations, and provide assistance to individual artists and help coordinate local artists' resources, including raising funds to promote art in public places. Your board has taken steps to start planning for this project. One of the things that you have done is passed a resolution which has an intent to donate the property where our existing probation and DA offices are. Once we get those moved in the new facility, there's an intent to provide that site for a new performing arts complex. We're going to hear more about that today. We're going a little bit out of sequence. And then so one of the financial commitment that's being made as part of this agreement is that we tentatively had committed to provide 1 year of county counsel legal services for the JPA. So I wanted you to be aware of that. So I think as a matter of action today, you would need to appoint representatives for this JPA, and I'll turn it over to council to talk more about that.
The JPA, in terms of representation from this board of supervisors, is set up so that you can consider appointing one representative, and the term of this representative that would join this board of directors of the new authority would serve until a replacement is chosen. But the request has also been that there's a first alternate and a second alternate from this board. And so that action is also on the agenda because there was, just in full disclosure, because there was the second recommended action happened less than 72 hours after the agenda was published. My recommendation is to throw any appointments you make on the consent calendar for the next meeting, just to ratify it, to make sure there's no discrepancies with regards to any action you take today, along with a waiver, if the board desires, of the attorney-client privilege. In other words, we have a contract with this Madera Unified School District, and because we would be providing counsel to the authority, if so formed, it's very imperative that we disclose that. And also, we've done that with Madera Unified, and that would be also something that would go on the consent calendar if your board wants to move forward with this action. With regards to representing the authority and helping with the formation, because any JPA would be subject to the Brown Act, I have with me my colleague Jim Sanchez. Jim Sanchez was the city attorney for the city of Fresno for many, many years, and also the city attorney for the city of Sacramento before he joined our firm in September. That's what I was going to say. So Jim is here to answer any questions. It wouldn't be me that sits with the authority, but we want to make sure it's someone that's seasoned, understands, and can answer any questions, and help this authority come off the ground and do what it's set out to do.
Want to just see what is involved in this project. May or may not want to see what's involved in this project before you decide who you want to designate. So I'll just offer that up as a suggestion. And I apologize. There was a mix-up in timing. We're waiting for Paul Halajian to come. He's going to walk us through this. And so we really wanted to get through that presentation first to give you a flavor of what the project's going to be. It's exciting. So with that.
Brett? Well, first of all, Brett
No.
has a.
Oh, I took it off. Mine was just a statement of how important it was. But
It is important. But go ahead, Rob.
Mr. Chairman, I would just suggest that either Max or I be appointed to the JPA just because we're
City
City-
representatives.
very
Mhm.
city centric and
Which one would be first? Both of you.
oh no, I think it should.
City.
I mean, I'm going to be a huge proponent of this project, and I will help in however I can. But I do think that Supervisor Poitras could or yourself should be on it and driving the bus, so to speak. I'll just be the one pushing from behind if we're ever having to go up any big hills.
I think we'll appoint both of you. That way you guys can do any, meeny, miny, mow it. So, and you need a third one too, you said, a second alternative?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay, then maybe Brett can do that.
I would absolutely love to do that.
Okay. Does that work?
Yes, Chairman. So my understanding is the representative will be Supervisor Poitras, the first alternate will be Supervisor Rodriguez, and the second alternate will be Supervisor Frazier.
Well, I was putting them both in first so that they could alternate.
I think from the staff perspective, it's probably easier to have a clear person that's
Yeah, I
going to
know.
be like suggested.
Okay, is that okay then?
So,
Rob first, Max, and then Brett. Okay.
great, thank you.
That could be ratified next meeting.
No, we can do it now, right?
Yeah, I would suggest you still
It's right
add
here,
it as
says
part of
right
your
here.
motion, and we'll just ratify it to make sure. Then there's time. My understanding is that the City of Madera's meeting isn't until the 18th, and under the term of this, it's effective once all the agencies have approved it, and so that would be the effective date. So
So
we
we need
have
a motion.
time.
So I'll move that we appoint as specified and ratified.
Second.
And then, well, we need, you want to do item
We
number
should
1, 2,
look-
the joint powers? So we want to do, make the motion to do number 1, join the thing, and then number 2, appoint the
I think we
3.
can separate them. We haven't watched.
You want
Should
them
we table it
separated?
until Halaji?
Okay, so the first motion then will stand to be item number 2, and it'll be the 3 representatives. So any public comment on that? Roll call, please, on item number 2.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay, now we're on item number 1 of 7B, the joint powers agreement. We got any public comment on that? Seeing none, what's your pleasure, board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to working for this, and
Until, or is 7A tabled until Paul gets here? Is that?
yeah, we're skipping 7A
that's o-
until.
If that's okay, we'll do 7C next.
No, I'm just going to keep
or-
going on the line until he
Yeah,
comes in.
right. Okay.
So now we do.
It'll
7.
become clearer as time goes on. It's very fuzzy right now.
Yeah, and the public, please bear with us. You know, this is our second meeting with this new system, so our sound and stuff might be a little delayed sometimes, but we'll keep it going. So, and it's working really great otherwise. So 7C,
7C, County Administration Department. Discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution certifying that Madera County will have sufficient funds to operate and maintain the project and to authorize the county administrative officer or their designee to submit an application for the California Climate Investments Urban Greening Grant Program for the California Natural Resources Agency, conduct all negotiations, and submit and execute all related grant documents.
good morning, Tristan.
Morning. Well, are there any questions about the project?
Name.
I can give you a little overview of
Name,
it.
you got to put your name and what your
Oh.
title.
Yeah, Tristan Sham, Grant Services Manager for Madera County.
Thank you. We got to have that for the record, so.
Yeah.
Any questions on this item? Any public questions on it? Bring it back to board?
I just want to compliment Tristan for hitting the ground running. It's apparent that he's easy to work with. From all of our department heads have highlighted him as one of the things that they think happened good over the last year. And so I just wanted to thank him for his hard work and bringing these things that would not have been coming in otherwise. So thank you, Tristan.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, ditto.
And I move to approve.
Okay.
And I'll give that a second.
Ditto? Okay.
Call
Roll
for-
call, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
That the gentleman?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tristan.
Okay, we'll just move on to item number 8, pending legislation. It's AB 2975, Wild and Scenic Rivers. And
Now, this piece of legislation is an attempt to thwart local control over the San Joaquin River and designates the area between gap known as Temperance Flat area and northeast of that as a scenic wild river. That was attempted at a federal level also, but quashed by Bureau of Reclamation in Congress and Senate and several other organizations. If this piece of legislation were to pass and the governor were to sign it, it would eliminate the possibility of Temperance Flat Dam forever. That would be a moot issue. Process that we've already gone through under Prop 1 to develop an application and place funds at our disposal to build Temperance Flat. We have an application now for $1.3 billion with the State Water Commission on Prop 1. That proposition and process is still moving forward. We have submitted our letter of appeal to their rather convoluted process. And I think they've been sufficiently chastised by members of the legislature as well as the public for basically, I don't think the commission itself, but the staff has tried to abrogate the ability for those funds to be used as they're earmarked for surface water storage. So that's where we're at in the process. Temperance Flat is far from done and far from being killed as a project, as some of the media thought initially when it happened. And even if we don't receive Prop 1 funds, there is a likelihood that Temperance Flat will be built by private contributions due to interest in this valley, in this county, and the county next door. So the important thing, as Max always points out, is that water stays here in this region and in this valley, and that it's used for not only for residences, farming, and those purposes to keep our groundwater sustainable. And I think that's one of the main focuses of our attention on it. So anyway, I'm looking for a thumbs down on this.
Thumbs up for the letter.
Thumbs up for the letter,
down
thumbs down on the proposal for the scenic and wild designation.
Dave? Up? Yep, good. So approved. Thumbs up for all 5 of us.
Does it look like there's a lot of support for this bill, or?
It doesn't appear so. This is an attempt by the NRDC to do what they've always done, and they're opposed to dams, period. So any way they can tick out a dam or stop a dam from being built, that's what they're going to do. For years, they've done that, and look at the position we're in now in the state of California, behind the 8 ball.
Okay.
Wait, can I
Any
say
public
something?
comment on that? Yes, come on.
My dad's involved in agriculture, so the Temperance Flat is something I've been following. I'm April Molina again, just for the record. Who do we contact to vote no on this bill?
You write your legislators and your
Yeah.
state senators.
Yeah, just Glenna's right there.
Yeah,
That's his chief of staff, and she can give you all the addresses.
right.
Thank
Be
you.
Perfect, thank
Good,
you.
good point. Thank you.
Yeah. No, he's holding up the show. We'll get it done right.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
County Council had something, and then I've got.
Here, you got some, Brett?
Mhm.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Chairman, speaking of doing it right, here it's been agendized an actual action item, which is the best
Oh,
Okay,
the best
great.
practice, and so
We can move on.
a
I see
formal
that
vote
now. I missed it.
should be taken.
As I
Okay.
submitted, I'll allow my colleagues to weigh in.
I move to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any public comment on the motion then? None. Roll call, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
No. Oh, I mean, yes. No on the
Shocked
bill,
me.
yes on the letter. I just thought I'd catch you off
You
guard.
caught me off guard.
Any other pending legislation?
Yeah, so
Brett.
this is a letter that came for a signature for me from as the chairman of the San Joaquin River Conservancy, but Mayor Brand is signing on, Supervisor Borges, who's on the River Conservancy, as well as Councilman Brandow from the city of Fresno, who's on the Conservancy to sign. I just wanted to read it, and this is regarding the 3218 that I've talked about before. But dear Dr. Arambula, we greatly appreciate your efforts towards a sustainable solution to the challenges of securing operations and maintenance funding for the San Joaquin River Parkway. Based on our March 26th meeting, it appeared clear at all levels of elected leadership, City of Fresno, counties of Madera and Fresno, and regional assembly members, that we too support the objective of securing O&M funding for this prized natural asset that should be enjoyed by all. In that spirit, we wish to express our interest in supporting a coordinated and updated draft of AB 3218. We respectfully request modifications be made to the legislation in order to preserve and protect the important components of local control, and are hopeful you are willing to further work with us to draft language in the bill. It is our sincerest hope that such language would enshrine the authority currently given to the Conservancy and local public agencies. Our proposal, therefore, specifically requests language or its legal equivalent that no provisions of this section would limit the authority of the San Joaquin River Conservancy to acquire, manage, administer, operate, or regulate public lands within the San Joaquin River Parkway, nor restrict or limit the land use authority of any interested local public agency or San Joaquin River Conservancy. We look forward to your thoughts and suggestions as we work toward crafting this bill to something we all want to see, a viable and exciting regional park along the San Joaquin River. Is everybody okay with that?
Good.
Okay,
Thumbs up, Rob? Thumbs up, good.
thank you.
Okay, now we'll go back to item 7A.
Seven A, County Administration Department. Presentation on proposed revitalization projects for downtown Madera by the Madera Arts Council and Halogen Architects.
All right. Good morning again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Eric Fleming, County Administrator. Now we're ready for the presentation that we should have kicked the discussion off with. We've got Paul Halajian here from Halajian Architects and Dr. Julio Kane, and they're going to be walking you through this presentation called Reimagining Downtown Madera. Are we good to go, Jay?
Hope so.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Julia O'Kane, and I am have been involved in the process of getting to today for about 5 years as a member of the Madera County Arts Council. I'm also a community member. Do you need to know my address? No? Okay.
As long as you're in Madera,
I'm from Madera.
thumbs up.
Right. So, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, we are very excited to be here today to show you the results of efforts that our community has made over the last several years. And I'd like to, before we begin our presentation, our formal presentation, I would like to start with a short video, which we think sort of sets the stage for what could happen in Madera County. Do I have to push a button for that?
We're having issues with our,
Oh, yeah.
we're basically frozen. And so right now our presentation is on a split screen. So we're trying to get that resolved, but right now your presentation will be on a split screen.
That's okay, but it's supposed to be a little video.
The video, we could not get that to work.
Oh, okay.
See, we're still trying to make things work, but
Okay.
we're getting there.
Okay, well, we're having nothing but fun today, aren't we?
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
Can you act out the video?
Let's be
We know
artsy.
you can.
Right. I would call him actor Brett Frazier for that. Okay, it's okay. We can come back and show that to you. You can look at that at
That'd be
another
great.
time, but it talks about the economic viability of the arts in a community and what can happen in terms of economic development and community building through the arts. And so it sets the stage for what we think can happen here in Madera County for us. A great effort has been made over by several agencies and organizations. Plus, we've had input from many local stakeholders, and that has led us to this plan for the revitalization of the Madera Civic Center area and downtown Madera, a plan which brings the community together through an emphasis on the arts. In 2013, now we'll see if this works. Yes. In 2013, this lady, Elaine Sakara, left a large portion of her estate to the Arts Council for the purpose of building or maintaining a cultural arts center for Madera County. That caused some community interest in revitalizing previous plans that we had put forth in this regard, and made many people enthusiastic about the possibility that with this seed money, we could finally make something happen in Madera. By 2014, the county, the city of Madera, Madera Unified School District, and the Madera County Arts Council came together to form an informal partnership to discuss the possibility of moving this kind of project forward. I'd like to thank Max Rodriguez, who was on that committee representing the Accountability Supervisors at the beginning, and past Supervisor Rick Farinelli, who were initial members of the committee, and then Rob Poitras, who took over when Rick Farinelli left the Board of Supervisors. They worked very hard. There were lots of interesting conversations and learning how to work together. By 2015, we were beginning to build community support. Then the entities agreed, the city, the county, the school district, and the Arts Council, agreed to contribute some funds to actually hire an architect and develop plans for a whole civic center project, not just a theater, but a whole civic center project, so that all of this would tie together with current buildings and future buildings and landscape and streetscape and paths. So it was quite an effort and quite an acknowledgement from the entities that this was important to our community. So 2017 was the year of community input. We had stakeholder meetings as the architects listened and developed plans. Today, our architect, Paul Halajian and Associates, and Stephanie Reed are here to present the results of that community effort. Today, you're going to see that we're taking steps to formalize the community partnership. As you already approved your joining of the JPA, and we're hoping that that is going to help us give a more formal way of approaching a huge project that's going to involve our community for many years to come. So we're looking for great things to happen in Madera County. I would now like to introduce Paul Halajian, who's going to actually do the presentation of the architectural plans.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Paul Halajian, 389 Clovis Avenue, Clovis, California. So I wanted to also mention another member of our team, Shant Yemenjan, who is at the hospital right now having his third child, him and his wife. So
he's having it?
He had a part in it. And
make sure.
He's doing his job.
Oh, okay.
So between Stephanie, myself, and Shant, the three of us have been thrilled to have had the opportunity to work on this to help get you to this point. And in retrospect, I think your decision to fund this study was a brilliant decision, and hopefully you'll agree with that. So I wanted to start by sharing with you kind of where we started. These were the values that we kind of formulated as we began the process. Before we were even selected, we spent a lot of time here in Madera looking around. This is a monumental project. This is the kind of project that has the capacity to not only transform Madera, the city of Madera, but Madera County, and maybe even the Central Valley to elevate the quality of one of our region's major cities is phenomenal. So So we spent a lot of time before we even were selected here, and we realized that Madera really is about authenticity. There's nothing fake, there's nothing pretty, there's nothing stylized in Madera. Madera is a real place, and we felt that if we came up with a plan that ignored the realness of Madera, we wouldn't have done our job. So from the outset, we were about reinforcing the authentic character of Madera. We realized that you have a downtown. City of Madera has a downtown that is has many of the pieces that downtowns all over the valley wish they had. You have them. They just need to be kind of elevated, and we need to connect people to your downtown. So connectivity was another real issue we wanted to focus on. How do we connect all of the amenities you have here and the amenities you were planning to make a cohesive place? Economy, that's another really, really important aspect of any kind of urban design intervention. And we realized that the engine behind all of this was this proposed performing arts center. And if we could come up with a plan that capitalized on the investment in a new performing arts center, that could potentially elevate the entire economy of this region. So authenticity, connectivity, and economy, those were the kind of three values that we had assigned kind of to ourselves before we were selected. So what you see here, these are some of the tools we use to engage with the members of the Madera community, the people who live here, the people who are experts on Madera. We're really not. We have a pair of glasses. We come in and we kind of look at it through the lens of a designer from someplace else, but we don't live here. So we felt it very important through a kind of workshop setting where we invited members of the community to come and talk to us. That was absolutely key to getting us started on the right path. So we had a series of workshops. The first one was simply to listen. We didn't really talk much at that first workshop. We wanted to listen and hear what people needed, and as the conversation went over the course of the 4 workshops, we really got a good sense of what was needed here. We spent a lot of time investigating and making observations. That was just boots on the ground, spending time walking around, going into restaurants, eating here, spending time here. And then fundamentally, we produced some designs, put them up, presented them, and we got a lot of feedback. So this became the area in which we were identifying our efforts, and it goes roughly from Lake Street on the east to the freeway, and it goes from 3rd Street on the north to 8th Street on the south. It creates sort of this T-shaped area. And so the civic arts area, or the civic and arts area is closer to the freeway, and then the downtown, as you can see, is kind of that narrow part of the T. So that kind of defined the area where we're working. And so one of the first things we did was to identify what we called opportunity sites. So these are sites that were being underutilized, and we looked at the streetscape. How can we improve the streetscape? How can we take a site that is ripe for development and make it even more valuable by improving the quality of the street and the pedestrian experience? And then ultimately our thought was, how can all of that reinforce a new downtown civic center? So this image you see here is an example of kind of the redevelopment strategy that we would propose kind of deeper into the downtown along that sort of narrow T-shaped part of that map you saw. What this diagram shows is potential, this is a site in the downtown area, and what this shows is how redevelopment can be used as a tool to revitalize the entire area.
Can you explain the colors real quick? Because
sure.
we can't read them.
Okay, so
you can see them.
So I'm not sure how your color rendition is. In the little legend in the lower lower corner there, that top color that's new landscape elements. So we're proposing that by using new landscape elements, and then the middle color is we're identifying mixed use building types, and then the bottom is retail. So between streetscapes, mixed use development, and looking for activated retail, those are three strategies that we're proposing to use where we find an opportunity site, a site that's ripe for redevelopment. Did you have a question?
Can you go back to the slide before? I just want to make sure I don't have any conflict in terms of the study area for a business that I have that would be close to this.
You're north of it.
Okay, we're good. I saw 99. I thought that was 4th Street where we were at here, so I'm good. Okay.
Good. Okay. So did I answer your questions about the?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Thank
good.
you.
So this next image then is kind of what we've described as kind of the phasing, how this might occur. And what we did was we had on our team a woman who's an urban economist, and her task was to look at the kind of the economics, look at development, look at demographics in this area, and give us some kind of qualitative information on how revitalization could be deployed in this area. So what we looked at first was immediate redevelopment, projects that could happen immediately. And those were open, publicly held land. There are some sites that are publicly held that have no buildings on them right now. That's low-hanging fruit for redevelopment in terms of getting something built there. And we would propose that some type of mixed-use building that may have retail on the ground floor. It could be 3 to 5 stories in height with residential units above. And we heard overwhelmingly from the population here that they would love to see that kind of development downtown. So again, open, publicly held land, that's low-hanging fruit. The next level would be open, privately held land. So if something is vacant and somebody owns a piece of property, doesn't know what to do with it, we've got the answer. And then the third would be occupied, underutilized land. And there's a lot of that in the downtown. A building that has not been maintained, just is not really contributing to the urban fabric. That's kind of the hardest thing to redevelop, but certainly ripe for redevelopment. So from there, we began to look at some strategies for how the reality of downtown could be improved through this improving the streetscape. What do you actually experience as a pedestrian walking along the sidewalk in front of a storefront? And we came up with a number of strategies. I don't know if you can read them on your screen, but so we used urban elements such as a corner bulb out, narrowing the street bringing the sidewalk closer to the street at an intersection so that crossing an intersection is less formidable. Maybe reconfiguring parking. Instead of parallel parking, maybe diagonal parking could work. We looked at areas where we could introduce what we're calling pocket parks. It's a little kind of moment on the street where you can kind of relax, have a cup of coffee, enjoy a conversation, that sort of thing. So by getting people on the street to do more than just park their car, go into a store and leave, by getting people to linger in a place that's desirable, that ultimately is kind of the lifeblood of redevelopment and improving the downtown economy.
Does it appear that you have the space to do the parking that way?
Yeah, I'll show you in a moment.
It seems like it, and if you slow the traffic down a little bit in that region, that's the way it would work.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right about that. So these are just some kind of character images that show what could happen. We came up with this notion of maybe a bench that could be deployed across the area, the redevelopment area. Maybe we can introduce public art, things like that. This gives you a sense of what it could look like. It's very kind of sketchy. So this kind of goes to your question about do we have the room? We do have the room. We have the room for a center median, maybe a planted center median that would bring some shade, more robust street plantings on either side, and then the overall street width that is adequate to allow us to introduce either diagonal parking or these parklets. And then you can see in those lower two images, that's just the kind of character that we think we could bring to downtown. So that kind of gets us to this point. If we have a revitalized downtown, what happens at the Civic Center? And it kind of culminates here at this site between the freeway and Gateway, where the historic courthouse is, and the courthouse park, and the historic library. So it all kind of comes together here. And I think you just heard about the building that is going to be demolished that exists in the park currently, and how that opens up a whole host of opportunities. But the three main components of this downtown revitalization relative to the Civic Center are the new Cultural and Performing Arts Center, the adaptive reuse of the library, which you all listed as a community resource recently, which was a brilliant move on your part, and then a revitalized downtown master plan. And you can see the removal of the building in the park could bring about something like this. The courthouse park that is lively and activated, that is friendly to pedestrians and young families and kids, and a connection to a thriving new performing arts center on the north there. And then whole new streetscape, the kind of streetscape opportunities that would bring people, bring activities, bring life to a place that is really underutilized at the moment. And so this kind of identifies the parts of the park that we think could be done first, and that's part of the grant that I think you just approved. And this is a little greater detail of what could happen in the park. And you can see those kind of character images along the side of the plan that show you what could happen there. Music events, people just sitting out and enjoying being outside, being part of the public square, taking part in civic life. And so, again, that great green swath in the middle of your town to terminate a great thriving downtown could eventually lead to this, a new state-of-the-art Performing Arts Center, Culture and Performing Arts Center for the city of Madera. So this is an image of what could happen at the entrance, which is right opposite the historic courthouse. And these are booklets of what I'm presenting, so you can kind of have a closer look at the plan here. So again, this is an image at the proposed entrance to a new Culture and Performing Arts Center. And this is a plan view of what could happen inside, and what was envisioned by members of the community as we talked more about what was needed. We have a main theater that could seat roughly 500. And this is the kind of theater that you could have a traveling performance. If there's a show that's making its way up and down the state, why not stop in Madera? Be a great venue. We spent a lot of time trying to decide what makes the most sense in terms of the size of this venue, and through a bit of research and market study we did with a consultant, we realized that there's really a need for these kind of 500-seat venues. There's a lot of bigger venues. There's some smaller ones, but not a lot of 500 seats. So this is a good size for Madera. So it would have a theater, it would have banquet facilities, multi-purpose hall kind of space, a flat floor secondary theater that could be used almost as a lecture hall. Could have a center courtyard that could make a just fantastic evening event, wedding receptions, things like that. And the banquet facility could spill out into this courtyard. There'd be art galleries, a potential cafe, and just this grand, very civic lobby. Here's a three-dimensional view of what it could look like. And on the side closest to you, that's G Street. So we see the activation of a plaza that really enhances G Street and makes a strong connection with the library, which is right across the street.
Was that a skateboard ramp on top of that? I'm kidding.
If you wanted to really fund this thing, turn that into a skateboard ramp, and
you could go X-Games.
There's
Perfect. Yeah, that's
you can monetize the roof of this building.
Yeah.
So this, let's see.
Love it.
Here's some thoughts we had on G Street, how perhaps with this new Performing Arts Center and the library right across the street, and the renovated historic library, maybe on weekends, this section of G Street could be cordoned off to traffic, and this could become a great place for public festivals and food trucks and just lively, active things. And again, surrounding the plan image, you can see some character examples of what it could be like in Madera on G Street. This is an image, again, of the building looking from G Street. There's kind of an elevated plaza there right at the corner. There could be a cafe there that's gets people out on the street. Here's a view of kind of a secondary entrance to the building that capitalizes on the parking structure that's already there. Would allow easy entrance to the Performing Arts Center. This image is what it might look like in that courtyard that I mentioned a moment ago. So if you look straight ahead in that image, you can see the historic courtyard straight ahead. So there'd be this kind of strong connection between your past and your present, and just create a very, very pleasant space. So that gets us to the historic library, a real jewel of your community, a fantastic building in pretty good condition still. The thought here was to not change it, but celebrate it. One of the issues that the building faces is it's very difficult for a disabled person to gain access to the building, and we didn't want to just kind of walk away from that, but we wanted to address that. So what we're proposing is to not change the look of this building at all, but to introduce some ramps in front of the building that are in keeping with the architectural character of the building. So here's a plan view that shows this two symmetrical ramps flanking the entrance that create a very kind of classical facade to the building. There's some landscaping and potential hard space for maybe a sculpture court, but it instead of putting something that just looks out of character, we really wanted to back away and very quietly enhance the building, make it more accessible to people. So this is another idea about how can we take the space behind the library, or behind the old library, and between the old and new library. There's a parking lot space there. We thought, what if we made another kind of amenity that's kind of an outdoor reading room that could be used by both the old library and the current library, the new library, and create sort of a secret garden, if you will. And you can see some images there that display the kind of character that could define that space. So the plan for the old library is to turn this into permanent gallery space and offices for the Madera County Arts Council. So if you've been in the building, you'll remember that when you enter the building, there's a stairway that goes straight up the middle. What we're proposing is to put an elevator there, right in the middle. You enter at that kind of middle level, and we will put stairs that go right and left from this new entry. The one on the right takes you up to the main floor, and the stair on the left takes you down to the second, or the basement level. But this main floor would be gallery and some offices. And then on the lower level would be studios and other spaces where people could come and make art, pottery, take a class, that sort of thing. And so with that kind of concludes our presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I love the dimensions that you've created in the design, the elevations, and yet preserving the simplicity of the building, the beauty of that building, original building, enhancing its usefulness. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
Supervisor Frazier.
Thank you.
I want to rescind my motion. I want to be the primary proceed. Just kidding. This is absolutely amazing. One, like immediately, what took me was Doma.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Good.
As a branding thing, as where are you going? You're going to Doma. It's kind of like Soho.
Right.
Obviously, we're not Soho yet, but I just thought that was kind of a brilliant, very simple thing that brings people in and brands it in a different way and takes away what someone might have thought before of downtown Madera. Now it's Doma. So that was amazing. Looking at the downtown area, as a business owner down there, I like when we're popping things out and slowing down traffic, because as a retailer, at some point you want cars to come to zero, right? Where they park in front of your store, walk in, and give you money. And so if we're going to have a thriving downtown, we can't have people zipping through it at 45 to 55 miles an hour. We need them to slow down and park. You touched on authenticity, and I saw that through all of the design elements. I think that's where we're going to be able to stand out. And if you look at what millennials are trying to get to and the next generations, they've been so trapped in technology all of their lives that I think they're looking for that realness. So the fake communities are starting to go by the wayside, and you're looking at kind of that pushback to community because they've, again, just been stuck in a internet community, and they want to feel that realness, and we have that to offer where no one else does. So I just think it's fantastic. What's it going to cost is my only question. And how do we, like, what are our initial estimates, and how do we, because I don't want to say we can't do it because we don't have the money, because I think that's a cop-out. So we just need to know what it does cost so that we can start planning for it, because this, in my opinion, has to happen. It is not we can't get out with the easy answer of we don't have enough money. That's
It says do, that means do it.
yeah, do mas, right? Do more. You have to add an S. But so how much? What is the initial estimate?
So to be upfront, we haven't put an estimate to the streetscape work. We don't really know that. We can certainly work on that and get you a number. The only thing we did spend a bit of time on estimating is the Performing Arts Center itself. So in its current form, we think in today's dollars, that's something on the order of $60 million. As far as the streetscape, back to the streetscape, it's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of like what we developed was a kit of parts. It's like, which of these do you want? So I think in another phase, we could begin to really firm that up and tell you what the streetscape might cost. That's really hard because it does address changing the street, and that can be very expensive. Doing a bulb out is not big, but if we're talking about changing the entire landscape of what was a Caltrans street that may have basements under it, it's a kind of a complicated question.
And I feel if we figure out how to get to this 60 million, which we will figure out how to get to the 60 million, the rest of that stuff starts to take care of itself, right? You see this kind of level of investment in downtown, the private landowners that aren't doing anything will start to buy in more or sell out.
One or the other, which
might be fine too. And starting, I know that through MCTC, the city got that grant for what is it, Downtown USA or whatever, or Downtown California, that helps to do the planning for Yosemite and Downtown Madera. So that could help get us some of those costs and figure out where the city can find that money and how we can all partner, because this is our county seat. I come from out in the rural area, and Tom comes from the mountains, and David from Chowchilla, but this is where this is the center of Madera County, and we have to invest in it.
Build it up.
It will make everything better.
I think before I was involved with this, I think this building and your new federal courthouse, the way they face 99, everybody coming up and down 99 sees those two buildings. Those are fantastic buildings you've built. Putting another building, your Performing Arts Center, I mean, you can't ask for a better billboard to say Madera is a place to be. Madera is a city of the 21st century that's on the move. I'm putting, great architecture right on 99. That's a great way to improve your economy alone. Change the image of your community.
I agree.
Yeah.
Supervisor Rodriguez.
I travel that Yosemite every day, and every time I go through that, I'm so disappointed because of appearance sake, and it's very disappointing. What you say about your plan is very ambitious. As far as parking there on the south side of Yosemite behind the buildings, there's plenty of parking back there. We could utilize that. Now the north side, it's private, their homes there, but that could be done where you could purchase some of those properties and make parking there so that you wouldn't have to, as far as Yosemite itself.
Yeah.
The Caltram owns it. They haven't done very much with that street. It looks awful, but they have planned to do some within 2-3 years. We could probably transfer that over to the city and then designate 6 or another street as a route there to go through Caltram. But anyway, this plan here, $60 million is a lot of money. And I always thought, I kind of lost hope because those buildings there, the owners really don't invest any money in those buildings. And I know a lot of the owners that have little stores in there, and their rent is probably not very high. So they're making a living there. And if we could just improve, like with your plan, it's very, very ambitious. So, but I'm all in support if we could do something with that area.
Right.
You know, and I've always thought about, and I'll throw this in there, you know, from the park, have a walkway over to the courthouse, just a walkway.
Oh.
And that'd be beautiful. Anyway,
Over
thank
the
you very
top.
much.
Yeah. That'd be cool. We'll add that to the estimate.
Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, I believe that, as Supervisor Frazier said, this is a catalyst, and it will begin a chain reaction that can't help but occur if you go here, do this. And a thought occurred to me. You know, I come from Chowchilla. It's not very far, really. That comes from the ranchos, Tom from the mountains, and of course these two guys live here. But it's not too far to drive to a community that's alive.
Right.
You look for things like this. This is why we go to some places. This was what we drive to some places for, and it's a sense of community. It's a feeling that you get when you're in that space, and you're looking at what's around you, and it's pleasant to the eye, and it gives you a feeling. That's what art is all about.
Right.
Is cathartic release, and that's what music does for us, and we'll have that. That's what the visual aspects of painting and sculpture and pottery and architecture and all of the above do for the human existence. And if you don't have that, you're missing out on something that's really, really cool about life. And I just can't stress. I know some people underemphasize the arts. I think art is life. Art is what life is about in many respects. The greatest artist, of course, he put it all about us for us to see, and as a great example. So we follow his example and enjoy that.
We
are the human existence.
We learned that there is a very thriving art community here in Madera.
Yes.
The Folklorico company that is based here in Madera, there isn't a venue big enough to house them here.
It comes from places you wouldn't even think. Like we have cowboys that they get together and do cowboy poetry and sing Western type songs and what have you. And then you've got the Christian community who has concerts all over this community. I mean, we had one that drew 7,000 people in behind the church. I mean, it was fantastic, crazy good. And I mean, it's just from every part of the community, and culturally, there's so many neat things too. It's very diverse, and we can bring that all together in one location. And I love the thought that all roads lead to this spot. It all leads right here.
All roads lead to Madera.
Yeah.
Even the bumpy ones.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
The Sunday I went to the Oakhurst Community Concert Band performance. Started at 3, and I got there just a minute or two before 3, and I had to park a half a mile away. I mean, it was packed, and the performance they did was amazing. If we could do some of that down here, it's just they're just local people, and they actually had the Yosemite High Band join them, and it was just. I couldn't believe it. And if anything like this we can do to improve our community, work, live, and play, we cannot beat it. And I love the do. I'm a doer. We're all doers on this board. And anything like this we can improve our county. Just nothing like it. So I want to thank you guys and thank you, Doctor, for pushing this so hard, and the whole committee. And I don't think there's no vote on this. We all going to give you a thumbs up, and let's move forward.
And I also think it is important to recognize Rochelle Noblet also for all of her hard work as the executive director of the Arts Council, coming in and really pushing this forward too. Yeah. Got a nice office in here. Be a good one.
No, it's just a plus for our community. And so
Absolutely.
Any public comment? Come on up. You got to do up here. You're going to speak, hon. We need to hear your name and address and phone number. And what else did we ask for?
I'm Rochelle Noblet, Executive Director of the Madera County Arts Council. You did ask about the cost, and one thing that I skipped over, I don't know if it was intentional or not, was the phase one being the library. So was it intentional or, okay. The phase one library you said was about $3.5 million in today's dollars. So that would be the very first step to get this started.
Right.
So I just want to make sure you guys were aware that that was a separate but part of the whole. Okay.
Does that include the little secret garden and all that?
That was before the secret garden.
Well, that could be done by we have a gardening society, so they could probably do that.
They could probably do something like that, like they did at the Madera Center.
Right.
We have the Three Sisters Garden out there that the master gardeners put together.
Right.
So there's, it's a very exciting time for Madera. I wish that little 1.5 minute video would have played because it.
Well, I guarantee you, when it's working, we'll play it.
Okay. Well, it shows what the arts do for a community,
Right.
and it shows how much is spent for every dollar that they spend going to an event. Without even counting the tickets, a local person going to an event will spend $37.50 just around it. Maybe getting a babysitter, going out to dinner or drinks or dessert afterwards. A new outfit before they go to the event. So that's the kind of effect that the arts will have on a community. And if they're coming from out of town, they spend even more because now they're going to spend the night or whatever. So this is something that I can't tell you how excited I am. I was on these early committees when we were putting together an art center and the wish list, and that was 20 years ago. And now I can't believe that we've gotten this far. And I thank you so much for all your cooperation with the city, the county, the school district, and the Arts Council. There is a glimmer of hope here. This is really going to happen. So I'm very excited about it. Thank you.
Eric.
Thank you.
Eric.
I was looking for the word earlier. This is a magnet type industry, and everything flows into that because
Eric, touch the floor.
Oh, sorry. I want to make your board aware that we are working with Julie, Regina, and I on a lease, a long-term lease, probably a 50-year lease of that old library building for maybe $1 a year or as free as we can get, and to get that project started. So we'll be back with that soon.
$50, that's
a lot of money.
Yeah. It'll help
I'm
balance
sure.
our budget.
I'm sure. Also, we have Tristan, his eyeballs glancing always for those opportunities. So.
Yeah.
If you can figure out how to cover that $50, Tristan, we'd really appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the 69.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of grants out there and things. We just got to know that we got the guy that can do it, and we got the committee to do it. So
we got to think out of the box on that as well. I mean, there are some big philanthropic organizations that will likely
for arts
eyeball this.
Yeah, it will elevate our economy.
community.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
And so Rochelle, or Dr. Julia, if you guys, once they figure out how to do this video, if you could come to us and get a hold of Rhonda every couple months or so, and we'll run that during public comment. If it's you said it's 1.5 minutes, and just so we keep it on everybody's mind. I don't want us to we breathe this presentation and then it's gone. So just put it on you guys' calendar to bring it to us every couple of months, every quarter or whatever, and just all you gotta do is get a hold of Rhonda, You know, we'll agendize it and we'll have it on here for
We
you.
could also have Pitt put it on our site.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be great.
Great. There's other backup material that goes along with that. That's quite a large project showing what can happen in
Right.
you each got a copy of all of the
Yes.
slides.
Exciting.
And so we're doing this for a couple of reasons. One is so that you have something onto. And second of all, so that you can share with other people.
I'm going to take it to my downtown hall. That's the reason I got it sitting right here.
Because we just can't talk about it enough. There's always
Absolutely.
people every day who haven't heard what we're trying to do. And we're looking for people who want to get on board. So it could be another philanthropic organization. It could be someone who has a trust that they'd like to use in a way to support. So we're going to be looking for lots of ways people can be.
Right.
So please share.
Yeah. How many of our board members are members of the Art Council?
I've gone to their stuff, and I
That's
don't know that I'm
gone.
a
I said
member.
We'll be
member.
glad to check that for you.
I said member. Dave,
I'm
member,
surprised Michelle doesn't
not
have
going
the-
to it. I
the
mean a
membership
member.
course today.
Yeah.
I've been a member for a lot of years since
Oh,
I've been
okay. I didn't
elected.
know that.
It's important to us.
It is.
Okay.
It absolutely is. And I get the notices.
I didn't
get
know
the
they had
letters. I
memberships.
get the
There you go.
announcements. So it's important. So I'm challenging the public to join this too, because it does not but do nothing but good for
That's
our
a real good
communities.
way to get people in to be involved. Is to get
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
And let's get you in because
Yep.
it takes that kind of support.
I think anything time that we shared on any Facebook or anything, we should, I don't know if using the hashtag DOMA, I think this has to start getting out
Yes.
very
Right.
quickly and correct people when they call it downtown Madera and call it DOMA. I think that's a good branding.
Very
But
good. Well,
thank
thank you
you.
very much. We've had a very productive morning with you this morning.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay.
Hey, Jim is here.
Jim, are you here for this? Are you here for the downtown Madera thing?
Doma?
Oh, good. Then I can still stay positive about it.
Okay, we are on. Any other pending legislation that need to talk about? Okay, supervisors and staff reports. Mr. Rob.
I have nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Neither do I.
Neither do you.
Neither do I.
Great management workshop last week.
Yeah, it was a great.
Oh, I
workshop.
forgot about that. I was
Yeah.
supposed to say that.
We've had 4 of them now, and it was probably the best one we've ever had. More participation, more enthusiasm, and more pride that I've ever seen at our workshops. And I do for different committees I'm on, and this was by far the best one ever.
I did get an email from a local paper, and they asked me to give a couple of quotes on the
Yeah.
workshop, and I was happy to do that. And I believe that we have planned well, and planning leads to success. It's not an accident. Success doesn't just happen. It's
Right.
planned for. And I believe we've done well on planning.
We did a lot of great planning, and interaction with our department heads is so important to be consistent on what we want for our county. So I'm so happy about it, I can't tell you. And then like I said, I went to that Oakhurst Community Concert Band performance Sunday, and it was so amazing. I still can't believe it. Some of these kids are just
neat,
crazy. So
Yeah.
okay. We have no more closed session, and our next meeting will be in Chowchilla next week, 3:00. So please come. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Adjournment.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, then will we have the county council with the finance authority then convene at 11:30? All right,
And
thank
we
you.
do it- We got to do it at 11:30? But we'll take a 10-minute break. We can't adjourn yet.
What's the difference? Notice meeting.
So your finance authority is Supervisors Wheeler, Rogers, and Frazier, as well as Mr. Talbert and Mr. Mahio.
So I think we adjourned this one, right? But we would just
Yeah.
open up.
We can? Okay, so we adjourn the regular meeting then. Okay. And we'll come back at 11:30 for the finance authority meeting. Nope, you can go home. Huh?
All right, well, let's see. All right, so let's put it on table 4. Have,
Thumbs on it.
all right. See, it's still. How to get,
How you doing, Bill?
plug in the.
Hey. 90? Wow, you're still going. You woke up alive today, so that's a great day. Yeah. Good morning.
Okay.
I can go ahead and start.
And just,
Hello.
but it's.
How you doing? It says that on my phone. Huh? You come all up closer. You don't have to sit clear in the back. Who's you gonna run with it or? Oh.
All right. I guess I don't know, Ron, if you want to read anything in or we can just get going. This is the first meeting of the Public Financing Authority Board for the proposed Riverstone Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District. We do have a brief PowerPoint presentation we'll go through to just give the board the background on where we are at. We have completed 2 steps in this process. We've created this board, and we've adopted the resolution of intent to form the EIFD. Today, what we're requesting and asking for of the Public Financing Authority Board is direction and authorization to proceed with the preparation of the infrastructure financing plan, which will detail all of the things that this EIFD could be utilized for, and provide the 60-day notification of that before this board's consideration of adoption of that. We are shooting for June of this year to have that infrastructure financing plan back before this board for your consideration in June. It will it'll have the legal descriptions and detail all of the infrastructure and items that may be funded as a part of this project.
Real quick,
Sure.
Mr. Rogers wants to say something.
Yeah, I want to ask County Council, do I have any conflict of interest having received contributions? My reelection campaign.
If they're simply campaign contributions, then the Political Reform Act says that they aren't gifts or income. And so in that case, there's a whole different body of law that deals with campaign contributions that would require you to accurately report those contributions, but they don't create a conflict as you serve on, wait, hold on, on your board of supervisors.
This is a public
But this is a public financing, which is different, kind of like with LAFCO. And so without doing a little bit more research, you might want to sit it out.
I think I will
Chairman.
clear myself out at this point. Move myself.
Yep. And we'll clarify that for the next.
Did I?
We can take a 5-minute break, Chairman, and I can.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break because I have got money from my campaign program too.
Okay. Does this include San Joaquin River Ranch in there?
No, it does not.
Yeah, so I'm fine.
His life. Oh, man. Always something. What'd you gentlemen think about the workshop? Yep.
I didn't like
Separated.
What number? Buddy.
And, you know, and he,
No, I wouldn't even assume something like that happened.
we're going to cancel this hearing that we were started and come back on the 24th and see what we got going. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Hmm.